but we have something much, much better today. I have a guest, my first real guest, and I'm really excited about this. Shall I bring, well, I tell you, let me announce her. That's probably the best thing. It is Sandra Rogers. She's author of this incredible book called Inviting the Queen. Sandra Rogers is a licensed marriage and family therapist. She is a psychotherapist and she is a clinical hypnotherapist, life coach, a Reiki master, incredible woman. Consider her a friend, and I'm going to bring her on right now.
Hi,
It
Chuck.
works. This is the first time I've tried this. Hi, Sandra. How are you doing
Hi.
today?
I'm fine.
Good. As I was saying to you before the show, I am so enthused about this book. I loved it tremendously. We've already done an interview together. We did this on Dr. Whimsy's show, Taco Tuesdays. So we'll just resume where we left off, keep talking. But I guess my first question to you, Sandra, is tell us about yourself. Tell us who Sandra Rogers is and what compelled you to write this marvelous book, the message you want to get out to people.
Okay. Thank you, Chuck. Well, you kind of covered who I am with the psychotherapist and the clinical hypnotherapist. There's one other thing that I've done for the last 10 years and loved. I ran a group for gay men at the local LBGT center. I think I got
I
the,
didn't know that about you.
yeah, I don't think I've mentioned it before, and
No,
did
you have.
that as well. I had worked in the AIDS field for 14 years, so I had
Oh,
a large background with working
bless
with
you.
gay men. So
Well,
that was incredibly rewarding. And how
yeah.
did I come to write this book? Is that your question?
Yes, yes.
Yes. Okay. Well, I actually wrote my master's thesis on the Crone, the maid mother Crone, the oldest woman,
Yes.
and I loved it, and I wanted to do workshops with women on the Crone when I
Yeah.
finished got licensed. And when I started to talk to women about it, they went, "Oh God, no, not the Crone. The Crone, no, I hate that word."
Yeah,
So I
you touched
spent
upon
20
that in
years
your
trying to
book
figure it out.
because
Then I
your
realized
book.
there was a queen. Hmm?
Yeah.
And
Yes,
I
you use
realized
the
that there
archetype
was
of the mother. Well, let me
maid.
see. The maiden, correct? The mother,
Mhm.
and then the crone. But you've addressed in your book that there should be another archetype in
Right.
between, and I should let you continue talking. But I just wanted to point that out about the other
Oh, thank you.
archetypes.
Well, the Crone, as it was, encompassed about 30 years. That's too long a time for a life stage. So,
Indeed,
and I
especially
saw
the
that
mother.
the queen, something else was there. And I actually had a come to Jesus moment when it flashed in my head. There's something missing, and she's called the queen. And that's why I wrote the book. It just actually came to me in a flash. So
Indeed.
it's
Well,
kind of,
I think you channeled that.
I think there was a lot of that in the book. I could feel like I was writing it and thinking, oh, I can't wait to see how this ends. So somebody was putting words in my ear.
Indeed. Well, that's the way I work myself, but when I do my own spirit channeling. I mean, it's just amazing the inspiration that comes outside of our conscious mind. I think that's where all genius comes from. And I think what you
Oh,
came up with is ingenious. I was thinking before when you were mentioning about all the negative connotations we have about the crone, I think you mentioned in your book that that used to be something that was a place of honor and reverence. Like crone, isn't that a derivative of crown?
mm-hmm.
Crown chakra?
Crown, crown being a queen or crown chakra. Yes, absolutely. And just like the word hag came from Hagia Sophia, and it got turned into hag, which is awful. So
Awful.
words go through, they get changed sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Well, because your book basically addresses the modern woman, hence the queen. Hence, in modern times, we do have negative connotations around the crone, and I think your book helps to reestablish that it's something honorable. But I loved the queen. Please talk about the queen. We could do a whole show just about that.
well, the queen was, I saw her as being an archetype that embodied all the best that women can be as they've matured and are grown up. So I'm sorry, I'm kind of losing my train there. Um, um, oh dear, get me back on track, okay? Oh,
That's the fun thing about doing a live show.
oh, it's fun.
But to me, the Queen, you know why I loved it? Because, I am in, shall I say, I'm in my Queen years also as a man.
Yes.
And so I really loved what you wrote about how this was about recognizing where a woman has come in her life, how she's earned the right to be the queen, how this is it's like the culmination of all of her life experiences up to this point. And you address in your title, Inviting the Queen, literally that, how to bring these in. And you utilize a lot of methods that I love anyway, like journaling, Greek mythology, archetypes, the chakras. Could you please elaborate on that for us?
Well, sure. As a therapist, I mean, my study was at Pacifica Graduate Institute, and they teach Jungian psychology. And there are not a lot of people that study C.G. Jung anymore. But he talks
Yeah.
about archetypes and mythology and brings those all together. And this was my training. It's what I like to do too. So it
Oh,
was easy
well,
to go into that and
I
just
saw that, but
lead
I
the
saw
way.
your passion. Your
Yes.
passion was all throughout the book, and that's one of the things that I resonated with, and it kept me excited, and it kept me wanting to literally keep turning the pages to see where this was gonna go, where it was gonna lead to. But like with Greek mythology, these archetypes have been part of our literature for centuries, and
Yeah.
I thought it was very clever how you found ways to apply that to Inviting the Queen.
Well, it was,
Was there one in particular that resonated with you
oh,
strongly?
the one that resonates with me all the time is the story of Demeter and Persephone. And I do relate that in the book. But
Uh-huh.
a mythological goddess of the harvest, Demeter, lost her
Yeah.
daughter who was picking
Oh,
flowers. And Hades, the god of the underworld, swooped in on his chariot and took her off and took her to the underworld. So
yeah.
Demeter was so devastated, she stopped growing things, and the world was ready to starve. And everyone was praying, oh, please bring the harvest back, we're dying. And she finally
Mm,
was able to presume on Zeus to find out more about where her daughter went. And she did. I won't tell the
mm,
whole story, but it's a
yeah.
lovely story. It tells us about winter, it tells us about mothers, it tells us about maidens, it tells us about grief. It's a very good mythological story.
Oh, exactly. Well, also just the idea of wintertime,
Yeah.
winter, like the winter of our lifetimes. That's such a powerful metaphor.
Yes.
Going to the underworld, the harvest, nurturing, feeding people. Yeah, this is all throughout the book. You talk about chakras. That was a big thing that I loved about your book because I was literally looking for a book like this about the chakras without even knowing, that was going to be within what you wrote. And,
Oh,
you do that through each of the stages and you give a list of ways to utilize these for each of the chakras of the body to bring in the empowerment of the queen. Would you like to discuss that with
oh,
us? Because
yes,
I you
absolutely.
did a beautiful job of that.
When I started to write the book, I thought, how am I going to describe her without writing a book with nothing but adjectives in it? I mean, that will be boring. So I was looking
Yeah.
for a device, and since I take Kundalini yoga and work with the chakras all the time, I thought, what if we show the queen in the chakras and what the chakras mean and how that affects the queen? And so that's what I did throughout the book. And
Oh, yeah.
it was a good device to highlight her in a way that you could kind of